Okay guys, welcome to my first guide for Rift. This is going to be of the Rogue, and it's my Nightblade Sin Spec that I've been using for PvP. I will preface this by saying that I am below 65, so I'm hoping that it still works in the 65 bracket. If you try it and it does or doesn't, let me know in the comments below, and we'll get straight into the guide. Right, so this is the tree that we're going to be using. It's 36 Assassin, 40 Nightblade, and my choice is 0 Blade Dancer. Now you can choose any of these specs, but the reason that I'm choosing Blade Dancer is literally for the 50% dodge increase for 15 seconds. Again, choose what you want, but this is my preference. The masteries are pretty self-explanatory. This is for the increased 1.5% damage that you're going to be doing by using puncture. This stacks up to 3 times, it's with your assassin abilities, and we do have some of them in the macro. Okay, so our 62 mastery is going to be Adamant Resolve. Now this is mainly again for the secondary part of this, which is reduces the cooldown of death from the shadows by 15 seconds. Now this is a very heavy hitter, and again it is in our builder macro, so this is a must. So next up we've got Sprinter's Guile. I mean, who doesn't like a 10% flat out speed increase? So next up we got Timed Focus, and this is just going to build up to 5 stacks and then explode and do damage. Now when I do hit 65, it is going to be a tough choice between Energy Manipulation and Planar Variation. I may start with Energy Manipulation and then switch out to Planar Variation if I still feel a little bit squishy. You don't need to pause this at this point, because I will be putting a link down below for you to see the talents on a web page, so you don't have to worry about pausing it. Right, let's move on to the abilities. First we've got Stealth. You're going to need that, it's self-explanatory. Next up we've got our Slip Away. Again, pretty self-explanatory, but use that particular one as a defensive cooldown just to get out of the crap. Twilight Transcendence, this is the reason that we took 40 points in Nightblade. It will save your life. Ebon Fury. Now, I will go into this in a bit more detail. It's a DPS cooldown, and it is in one of our macros. Cleanse Soul is from the War Tree on your planar attunement, and I use that in conjunction with Slip Away. Again, it just allows you to get rid of any pesky dots. Sidesteps, again, is the reason why we took our Blade Dancer Soul for that 50% dodge buff. Now, again, use any planar abilities that you want to use, and also Smother. I've got it on my bars just for an extra stun, but I barely ever use it. I think I've hit it once by accident. Now we have our Lost Hope, which is a ranged sap. It's great for defending flags, and we have our Incapacitate, which that's basically a melee version of Lost Hope, so you can have 2 people stunned up with those at the same time. Okay, so we've got our Dark Malady, which is our opener. It will give you a 20% damage increase for 8 seconds. You're going to be using this almost every time as your opener, because that 20% is too much to pass up. Blinding Powder I will use on secondary combatants that maybe join the fight, or if there's a healer around, I'll just stun him up so as I can kill whoever I'm attacking at the time. Foul Play, it's a stun. You know how to use your stuns. Great to use on healers just to finish them off or make them panic. Now we do have our Slip Away here, that is macroed along with our Dark Malady. Now use this as an offensive cooldown. You generally will be using Slip Away as a defensive, but you can use it as an offensive if you need to put a healer down and you just need that little bit of damage just to tip the balance in your favor and to get the kill. Now I do have an AoE ability on here, but Nightblade is awful at AoE. This is an AoE macro that I use. It's not great, and you're probably not going to use it. We got our Finisher macro. Now this has got ranged and melee along with the Builder macro, which is in the same order. Now if you're in range, you'll use your melee. If you're out of range, you'll use your range finisher, and it can deal an awful lot of damage from range, considering it is a melee spec. Next up we got our Dusk Strike macro. Now again, this is used in conjunction with our Ebon Fury, and that is in the macro. I feel it's a little bit weak unless you've got 4 stacks. Now Ebon Fury will have run out by that point, so if you want to add on this ability on its own just to build up 4 stacks and then pop Ebon Fury, it should work. I mean, Dusk Strike will hit hard the more you use it, so it's up to you. Trial and error and play around with it. I find that with this, my builder macro, I do a lot more damage, and it is basically, again, this is your spam button. You're going to be hitting this pretty much all the time. I'm not going to confess that it's perfect, but it does do an awful lot of damage. Again, use at your own risk. Fiery Spike, you want at least one of these every time you're attacking a new target. The reason being, when you use a finisher, it is going to give you 1 extra combo point, so it's just a flat out damage increase because you only have to build 4 combos to get to your next big finisher. And also your finisher and your builder macro will both apply the further 2 stacks of Fiery Spike, so you're going to get that built up to your 3 stacks, and you're also going to be dishing out extra damage from that 1 combo point you gain. So we got our puncture. Again, keep this up on the target at all times. You don't really want to clip it, so don't let it don't refresh it when there's still time left on it. Let it fall off and reapply it once it's fell off. Again, it's going to be doing damage to them, and it's also going to be coming in with your masteries and giving you a 4% damage increase on your assassin abilities, which are in the macro. Now we've got our Enfeeble and Poison. Again, this is going to be a 10% damage reduction, and this is one of the ones you're going to be using in PvP. So whoever you're hitting are going to do 10% less damage. And we've got our Lethal Poison, again a PvP one, to increase your crit chance on that player by 5%. When I use this in leveling and solo, I used Leech and Poison instead of Lethal Poison, just for the little bit of extra health. Now again, use any of your planar abilities or anything like that that you want to use, just add them in as you see fit. Now, let's deal a bit of damage just so that you can see what we're doing. We're going to start in Stealth, and we're going to open with Dark Malady once I decide to attack the boss. Okay, so straight in with a puncture and a Fiery Spike, and then onto your finisher. And then from there, it is spam your builder macro until we got 5 combo points and end with a finisher. And now we're just spamming from here your builder macro and refreshing your puncture as and when it needs refreshing. And once you hit your 5 combo points, you just end them with a finisher. Again, if you end out of range, you're going to still be dealing damage because we've got those ranged abilities in the builder and the finishing macro. And as you just seen there, I used a slip away macro as an offensive just to show you what that looks like. Again, that macro, it will do everything on its own. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope it helps some people. Again, comments below, let me know what you think of it, what you think of the spec if you try it, and anyone who uses this at 65, it would be perfect if you could give me an idea of how this looks. Thanks for watching, guys. Thumbs up and subscribe.